starting in the same way. Relationship of width to height is like that, I would estimate, something like this. And then I'm going to start by, like before, targeting the large, simple areas and immediately trying to take steps to capture the large design as immediately as possible. Now that we've waited a whole minute to put you in suspense, what's similar about the design of this one and the design of the previous one? Do we have any common themes here? Anybody?
Oh, sorry, I thought I pushed on you. Emily said that she was noticing that the headline's up in the center.
That's right. The head is again meeting the center line. And what's meeting the horizontal line? That's right, the meeting with her blouse, right? So we have yet again an invocation of the horizontal and the vertical.
Oh, gosh.
Unmute. Was I muted?
I'm sorry. Whenever I admit somebody, it immediately jumps to your name and the button's in this spot, and I accidentally bumped it.
Okay. So what we can see is what the painter is doing here is he's engaging the emergent properties of the surface itself, the vertical and the horizontal, by putting significant moments of visual contrast to lead our eye to this and to that, which is where our eye kind of naturally wants to go when we're confronted with a frame. So all we need is just a little push to trap us between these center components. And what you can see is that even before this becomes a person, it's becoming very, very, very visually engaging. So the chair, I'm not looking at all the information, of course. I'm just trying to get a general value. And then what's very interesting here is also another emergent property of the frame, this diagonal, right? The diagonal that connects the both corners of the world, right, is very strongly suggested by the movement of this arm. Because if Ingres put all the interesting stuff in this corner, right, over here, then something has to lead our eye over there. Otherwise, this whole thing will totally tip out of balance. So when we do these kinds of sketches, we are learning about Ingres' thought process, which is very, very, very significant. How am I on time?
You have 11 minutes left.
That's a lot of conclusions for 4 minutes. So for this to work, I don't need any features. I don't need any eyes. I just need to understand what is activating this frame. What are the active components? And to ask myself, why did Ingres do it this way and not another way? For this to work, you need to assume that Ingres' decisions are very deliberate. I'm imploring you, if you're working alongside me, with 15 minutes, there's more than enough work to do without diving into the details. This should show you, trust me, sometimes I could be in classrooms and within 15 minutes, people have eyes on their canvases, you know? This can show you how challenging it can be to really capture the design that you want and how important it is. And when you're doing this, you really want to try to tap into the secret relationship between the hand and the eye. There's a secret relationship there that is ingrained in us from our prehistoric evolutionary time. There's a hand-eye coordination that our survival used to depend on, that is very, very, very strong. You can get a clue into this superpower when something falls off the table and you grab it in midair, and then you're like, did anybody see this? I'm Spider-Man. And it's amazing. It's an amazing moment. But in fact, it really is an amazing moment. Like, think about what that means. Your brain didn't have time to think how you're going to catch that object as it's falling off the table. It was pure hand-eye coordination. And this is a skill that if you can develop it in drawing, you will find it to be immensely useful. If you can just say, my eye is going to see something, my hand is going to react, you'll be much more accurate and also much more creative, because you'll be liberated from the confines of continuously being how would you say it, from this like fake loyalty that we have to concepts, not fake, futile loyalty to concepts. Our eye is so used to just transmitting visual information to the brain so that the brain will decode what it is. And then the eye is like, I did my job. You know, the eye is very subservient. That's the word, subservient to the conceptual mechanisms of the brain. Allow your eye not to be subservient, but to take the lead. As painters, we need to learn how to let our eyes take the lead. And that kind of exercise is better done with values as opposed to with lines, because lines is not something that the eye actually sees when you look out into the world. The world doesn't have lines. The world has value arrangements. Lines are a conceptual distinction of border between things, which in actual reality we do not see. And with the remaining time, you can see the composition is already there. So all I'm trying to do is I'm not adding information, but rather I'm refining the shapes themselves so that this shape is more precise, more specific. How much time do I have?
5 minutes and 35 seconds.
Oh, luxury. So much time. What am I going to do with all this time? See what I mean, people? You can all do this once a day. This is like, if you don't have 15, take 10. Just take 10. In 10 minutes, you can do this. It's so useful. And every one of these you do, you'll discover something about how one of your favorite painters chooses to approach design. Now it's becoming a little important to start adding these little hints, because there is a relationship between that and that. They are not for nothing sitting on the same line, echoing each other, trying to reduce the emptiness of this space and turn it into more of an upward leading movement.
Approximately what size are these studies?
My hand, I don't know, like 6 inches?
Great, thanks.
Of course. Yeah, they can be smaller. They can be smaller. No problem. These are a little big. Actually, they're fine. I don't know. This is an okay size. So if you decide one Saturday morning that you take 2 hours and you devote it to this, think of how many designs you can learn. So many. And what I very, very strongly suggest that you take from it, as opposed as in addition to the practicing routine, is before you start any of your own works, do a few sketches to test these different formats. Like, see how we can now totally understand that this is the triangle we were talking about. This is the triangle in the frame. So we have this triangle of these light moments, and then this light moment is placed beautifully next to the center line. This light moment is placed beautifully on the center line next to a darker moment to create a moment of contrast next to this dark area to create a moment of contrast. And the result over here also, this is more strongly lit than this. This is a little bit more dim, all the way up to here, to create a perfect movement that just traps us here with this helping us and this helping us. We understand so much more about what Enk was trying to do with the design, and this helps us break the spell that this lady has on us, because, you know, the representational qualities of this piece are so enchanting, but underneath that, there is also a very, very grand understanding of design. How am I on time?
1 minute and 30 seconds.
Perfect. We don't need
And
more.
people are impressed, saying that it's amazing how much you can learn from small sketches and that they're excited to try the exercise on their own.
Good. That's what we want. Let's put some hint of a shadow here. Not too much. You can't really do a lot of hinting just to break this shape because it's too continuous. There's something about the original that doesn't leave this shape perfectly continuous. There's a disruption there that's visually very compelling. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll see when the clock hits midnight and we'll move on to the next one.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, people. When you do this stuff, you should be stressing out at 30 seconds. If you see me unstressing, it's because I've been numbed to this. But the stress really helps activate our biological secret powers. Okay.